Here's the truth. Most people aren't stuck because they're lazy. Most people are actually stuck because they've bought into some beliefs and rules that they're living their lives by. And these beliefs, mindset myths, we call them, can sound motivational, but deep down they could be holding you back. I'm sure you've heard things along the lines of action equals confidence and success is a straight path and certain people are destined for certain things. But believing those things can keep you trapped in comparison, fear, and even self-doubt. So in today's episode, I want to walk you through 5 mindset myths, 5 of the most common mindset myths, in my opinion, that hold people back, and how to replace them with better beliefs that keep you moving forward. Let's get into the episode. Welcome to the Men and Rose podcast. I'm your host, Oba Okusanya. Let's get into it. 5 mindset myths that you should be aware of that hold people back and what to do instead. All right, myth number 1. Success is a straight line. This myth is particularly dangerous because it gives people an impression that their path in life and their journey in life and their road in life towards success and fulfillment and all those things, it should be a clear-cut, I make a decision and I go down a certain road and it's this. From day one, I always knew what I wanted to be, what I wanted to do, how I was going to do it, with who I was going to do it, and the rest is history. Well, that's not how it really works. See, the reality of things is that success is more like a bunch of zigzags and less of a straight path. I want you to think about this. I want you to think about success. Let's use this analogy of you're climbing the peak. You're trying to get to the peak of a mountain, and the visibility is really bad, but you can see a couple of meters at a time. That's kind of what our journey of success is. You don't have a clear-cut path towards the very top of the mountain, but you can sort of navigate a couple of steps at a time. And so you zig here, you go left here, you go right here, you go up this way, you turn this way. It's not a straight path, but that's just the way success is. So people who tell you, yeah, for me, it's always been clear cut. I've always known how exactly I was going to end up. They're lying. Nobody really knows how things are going to go. And that's what makes life what it is. That's part of the excitement in life. And it's part of the thrill of life. The fact that as you navigate different decisions and, priorities and different, opportunities, life takes you in a certain way and your journey evolves, and you might have started in one career and then you end up in another. It's all part of life. It's all part of your journey of success, and it won't always look like a straight line. So instead of thinking about success as this clear-cut straight path or straight journey, I want you to look at it as a bunch of zigzag movements, as a bunch of lefts and rights, a bunch of detours here and there. But the end goal is you still get to the place that you're supposed to get to. And this even makes me think about the fact that we should probably more be focused on whether or not we are on the right path, as opposed to just focused on success is a straight path. I think it's much more important that you ask yourself the question of, am I on the right path right now? The future will work itself out. Yes, plan. Don't get me wrong. Plan for the future. Aim for the future. But what I'm saying is you can't be so future oriented that you're ignoring your today. Ask yourself right now, am I on the right path? Myth number 2, only certain people can. It's not like anybody explicitly says this, but by way of communication and by way of the way things are said or the way things are inferred, sometimes it almost makes it seem like only certain people can achieve some things. Only certain people from a particular background, only certain people of a particular skin color, only certain people of a particular tradition, or who went to a certain university, or like it it pisses me off. I don't know about you. And it pisses me off because it puts us in a self-defeatist mindset from the jump. Can you imagine starting out on a journey and already, like, you're about to run a race, and right before you run the race, you're already telling people that you're running the race against your competitors, I can't win this race because I don't have the right gear. I can't win this race. Even if you have the right gear, there's no way you're going to win the race, because in your mind, you've already defeated yourself. In your mind, you've concluded that you're not good enough. And this is not to speak about preparation or performance, I'm just talking about the mindset to even begin with. You can't have a mindset that says only certain people can. And the other issue with this mindset is that it makes you overvalue natural abilities and undervalue effort. It makes you think that talent will always beat hard work or diligence. And that's not always the case. That's not always true. I would rather you adopt a mindset that says, if this is something that I'm supposed to do, if I do it with all of my strength and all of my ability, I can get this done. I can do it in the best way possible. That's a much better mindset to have. So I heard this somewhere. The quote says, success is not about who's chosen. It's more about who chooses. So success is not about, oh, this person is the chosen one, destined for this. No, it's more about this person decided to do this. They decided to put their all in it. They decided to give it everything they've got. And eventually they got to their end goal. That's what success is more about. So if anybody tells you only certain people can, tell them they're lying. All right. Myth number 3, action equals confidence. I see this, we live in such a interesting world nowadays, and people are in their performance bag. Let me put it that way. Everyone's on social media sort of in their performance bag. Even when they say they're being vulnerable, sometimes it's still highly performative, right? You see people portray so much confidence, and if you're not careful, you can start to link action and confidence and start to tell yourself subconsciously that these people are doing the things that they're doing because they're confident. You can start to look around at people that that you identify with as mentors, or people that you look to for inspiration. You can start to look at them and think very much to yourself that the reason why they're able to do the things that they're doing is because they are confident, or because they have always been confident. That's a myth. That's a lie. The reality is, most people take action, take steps towards their goals while having a lack of confidence. They're probably thinking to themselves, I don't even know if this is going to work, but I'm going to try anyways. And in all transparency and in all honesty, as I'm filming this podcast, prior to filming this podcast, I really didn't feel like doing it. And I'll tell you why. Because I've had a long week, so much on my mind, a lot of things going on. And in my head, I was just like, I don't even know if I have the right words to say to come here, turn the camera on, turn the mic on, hit record. I don't even know if I have the right words to deliver this, even though it's something that I'm really passionate about, and it's something that I really identify with, and that strikes a chord in my heart. I just didn't feel the confidence today. But guess what? I'm here. I showed up. Not because I'm special, not because I'm superhuman, but because at the end of the day, the confidence that you need comes from actually doing the things you said you would do. It's not the other way around. So it's not action equals confidence, right? It's not like, oh yeah, people are doing the things they do because they're confident. No. Regardless of how they feel, regardless of how things are going on, regardless of whatever it is that's happening, people are taking the steps that are required to get them to their goals. That's what you need to do. That's what you need to believe. So a better way to approach this is, instead of chasing momentum, instead of chasing uh, highs of confidence, and instead of only waiting on yourself to be ready to feel confident enough to do things, just focus on little things that you can do per time. That regardless of how I feel, regardless of what happens, regardless of my level of confidence, I will do this. I will commit. I will do what I've committed to do. It could be whatever it is. Just have a resolve in your heart that regardless of the level of confidence, you will show up. And this is the other part. Your level of confidence will not always be the same. There's days where your confidence is on a high, like, woo, let's do this. We got this. And there's days where your confidence is like, I don't want to be here. It is what it is. However, your journey of success, or your journey to success rather, depends on you showing up on the days where you're confident and the days when you're not. Because it's a compounding interest. It's a not an interest, it's a compounding accumulation of your efforts. And the consistency in that equation is more important than the volume. So when people say, yeah, it's more important that you go to the gym, is the volume that you put in, right? In terms of, oh yeah, like I did today, I did 100 reps at the gym. That's not as important as the consistency. If you're going once a month and doing 1,000 reps versus somebody who goes 3 times a week and they do their 20 reps, the guy doing 3 times a week, 20 reps, eventually will outpace the other person. It is just what it is. So don't chase momentum, focus on small wins, and the confidence shouldn't matter. Myth number 4, anything difficult must be valuable. I don't know what it is about us as human beings, or maybe I could just speak for myself. I don't know what it is about myself where I automatically attribute anything that was difficult to come by, anything that was that took some effort, I automatically attribute that to, oh, this must be valuable, this must be meaningful, this must be worth it. Don't get me wrong. In some cases, that is the case. For instance, if you're going to find gold in the earth's core, you need to dig into the earth. Yes, that digging process is difficult. But let's not reframe that. If you were trying to dig with a spoon, yes, you're trying to dig for gold, dig into the depths of the earth with a spoon. That's even much more difficult. It doesn't mean that effort is valuable, though. You get what I'm saying? It's a slight mindset shift that is required for us to know, it's not everything that is similarly difficult that we should continue to do. Some people just continue to do things because it's difficult and they've not necessarily assessed the value of what they're doing, or the fact whether or not it's meaningful. They just focused on the fact that because it's difficult, it must be valuable, and that's not always true. Sometimes the trade-off is, in this analogy that we're talking about, is you get some specialized mining equipment and you dig. Now, getting mining equipment is also difficult, but it's not as difficult as you trying to dig the earth with a spoon. You get what I'm saying, right? So it's much more about the value of what you're doing. The level of difficulty should not dictate the value of what you're doing. So challenges are good. Yes, it's good to have some resistance, some friction. That's how we grow. But it's much more important that you ask yourself, what is the value in this? As opposed to, this must be valuable because it's difficult. Not everything that is difficult is valuable or meaningful and worth your time. Myth number 5, success is based on luck. Yes, I've heard people say this, and I'll be honest, it pisses me off. Okay, pisses me off might be too strong of a way to start talking about that. But it does something to my heart, because you assuming that success is based on luck kind of tells me that you believe that not everyone can be successful, or that you believe that there's this that there's this certain amount of luck that's required to be successful, and then it just puts people in this sort of emotional state where they believe, I can't help myself, I can't fix my situation because I'm not lucky. Like, bro, what? No, 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 no. I will balance it by saying this, however. Success, in your journey of success, there are coincidences, and luck also plays a part in that. But, I was talking to a friend this week, and he said something that struck me so much. He's like, a lot of people think that luck happens to them. He said, you create your own luck. And what he was essentially saying is by preparation. Like, yes, there's things that will happen that are out of your control that might, increase the leverage that you have or improve your results significantly. But the reality is you still had to have some work in. You still had to have some input in that could be improved. Right? So the issue with this mindset is that people who think success is purely based on luck use this as a license to not do anything. If you ever thought this way, or if you think this way, I want to submit a better way for you to think about this. I believe that you should look at success as impacted by luck, but not defined by it. Not purely defined by it. Your success, yes, luck might play a part. Maybe you launch a business, and at the time that you launch the business, it just so happened that the major competitor that you had filed for bankruptcy, and all their customers are coming to you. Yes, that is a lucky situation. But if you never launched the business, you would not attain the level of success, right? So it's not much about, oh yeah, like I just hope that people say popularly, hope is not a strategy. It's not. Like, it's not a strategy for you to say, oh, I just hope it's going to work out. What steps are you going to take? So that's the issue with this mindset. And the better way to approach it is to say, you know what, I will put in the effort, I will prepare, and if something perchance happens that helps me improve my results, improve or quicken my progress or whatever it is, praise God. And if not, at least there's something to show for the effort and the results that I've put in, right? So as I wrap up here, I want you to do 3 things for me. This week, I want you to take a step back. A lot of the episodes, a lot of the things that we talk about here on the Banner Rose podcast, it's not to get you to necessarily be excited. I know. It's to get you thinking. It's to get you contemplating. It's to get you reassessing. It's to get you doing a deep dive into your mindset and your realities and your actions and your decisions. So this week, I would love for you to take a step back, identify a myth. It could be one of these or something else. And I want you to sit down and ask yourself, what are some of the things that I'm doing based off of things that I believe that maybe are not even true? Mindset myths are a dime a dozen. There's so much information out there. And with the spread of information is also the spread of disinformation, unfortunately. So you might be victim to some things that are not actually true, and you might have built a life based on those things. This is a call for you to revisit your decisions in your life and look at the things that you need to change and look at the things that you can question. The idea is to just keep questioning. Maintain your curiosity and keep questioning. And I want you to do that this week and write it down. So the first step is some deep reflection, identify whatever it is, that myth, and then write it down. And the last step I want you to do is to write down the belief that you're going to use to replace that myth. Identify the myth, identify whatever it is. It could be something a friend told you, or you read somewhere, and you've built a whole philosophy around it, a whole, decision around it. Take it, identify it, write it down. And the third step is I want you to write what you're going to replace that belief with. So that's all I have for you today. I hope this breaking down these 5 myths has sort of got you thinking and has impacted you in even if it's in a small way. I just hope to play a small part in your story. And I would love to hear from you. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this, and engage with the video, or the podcast, comment, and subscribe. If you're not already subscribed, we would love for you to please do so. It's your free way of supporting all that we're doing here at the Many Roads Podcast, rather. Till next time, God bless.